If you care about what other people think of you, then this video is especially for you. In this video, I'm sharing 4 simple tips that can help you let go of this mindset. If you're here for the first time, welcome to my channel. My name is Kiran. So a few months ago, someone on social media reached out to me and they said, Kiran, how do I stop caring about what others think of me? Now, when I read this question, I smiled inwardly because, this is something that I also struggle with. And as humans, we all want to be loved. We all want to be accepted. And that's why we even care what other people think of us. And this mindset is unfortunately not just limited to personal life, but also professional life. Like 2 years ago, when I was changing my career from IT to being a personal coach and an author, I was super vulnerable and nervous about my work. Because until then, I led a fairly private life. So to think of putting my work and myself on social media at that time felt like a great deal. And I would constantly wonder, well, what will people think of me and my work? What if my content is not of their liking? And on and on. And I remember sharing this with my dad, and he said, it's a big world out there. People who need the information that you're giving and who resonate with your frequency will somehow find you. I really took his words to my heart. And in these past 2 years, something that I have really focused on is resonance. Like in physics, there's a popular concept that if you have 2 tuning forks and you put them next to each other, when you vibrate one tuning fork, automatically the other one will start vibrating at the same frequency, just like so. So going back to the example I was sharing with you about my work, to get over this mindset of what other people will think about my work, what I started focusing on was creating a resonant frequency of my work. What that basically means is that I started asking myself, what thoughts, what energy or frequency do I want to emanate? And for me, what mattered was creating a resonance of truth, unity, and love in my work. And what my thought process was that people who are looking for these frequencies will eventually vibe with my work. And I kid you not, in the past 2 years, I have been led to the most beautiful audiences that anyone could ask for. And over again, the feedback I get is that people who listen or read my work, they feel the resonant frequency. And now the thought that whether someone will like my work or not doesn't really cross my mind. Now, another key exercise worth exploring and spending your time on is that when you have a moment to yourself, reflect upon why do you care what other people think of you? What is it that these people provide? And can you provide these things to yourself? I know it sounds so simple, and yet when you start to look at your relationships from this lens, from this query, it starts to shed light on what is it that you need to give yourself. Maybe it's love or acceptance or respect or perhaps something else. But you'll only get to find that as you do the self-inquiry and the self-reflection. Now, often I have felt that there's also a cultural undercurrent when it comes to this mindset of caring about what others will think, especially in Asian culture, and many other cultures around the world. From a young age, parents focus on being that good girl or that good guy. Like, I'm sure you can remember 100 incidents where your mom said, oh, you want to be that good girl or you want to be that good guy. Hardly ever parents say, be your own person or do whatever you want to do. Like, I remember, one of my meditation teachers often used to say, forget about caring what other people say or think. Why don't you focus on being you? Now, at that time, it was such an alien concept that for the longest time, I couldn't figure out what does it mean to be me? Because I was so vested in being that nice person so that everyone will like me and everyone will think great about me, that I had no clue of how to be me or where to start so that I can be myself. But eventually, as I learned to address my insecurities, and learned to stand in my power, I eventually got what it means to be comfortable in your own skin. Now, another key element in overcoming this mindset is getting clear with your values. Like 2 years ago, when I started posting on social media, some of my friends were not quite supportive. As in, at that time, I was still figuring out what are the things I want to talk about, how do I want to present the ideas. And my friends were like, Kiran, you're just all over the place. I mean, are you sure this is what you want to do? And the reason I'm sharing this is because, at that time, when you're just starting something new, it is so easy to get carried away. But at that time, instead of going into self-doubt, what I leaned into was my values. Like I got really clear about what is it that I value. And for me at that time, and still is, meditation is my number one value. Like when I don't meditate, I feel something is missing in my life. And so to think someone who values money, as an example, would understand your choices, your ideas, and what you want to create and put out into the world is a disservice both to yourself and to another person. And so when you find yourself being judged or criticized or being stuck in this mindset of what other people are thinking about you, take a pause and ask yourself, do these people value the same things as I do? And if not, perhaps it's a better idea to let go, because you can't change other people, but you can always change yourself. Now, if you need help with figuring out your core values, I made a video on it not too long ago, and I'll put a link to that in the description below. Now, the other key element that helped me let go of this mindset was to have a clear intent in all my relationships. Like I asked myself, what is it that I want to get out of each and every relationship? Because clearly, not all relationships are made equal. Chances are you care more about what your immediate family thinks of you than some random stranger. But even with your immediate family, your intent and goals are going to vary from person to person. And when you get clear about what you want from each one of them, then you don't overtax your relationship. Let's say I have a distant cousin, and my intent is only to have a cordial relationship with her. So then I know that she is not the person to ask for support when I'm creating a new business or making an important decision in life. And so, in a way, it doesn't really matter what she thinks of me. I feel we get hurt only when our expectations are not met in the real world. When you are fulfilled from the inside, you don't look for love, acceptance, and validation from the outside world. Because the only person that you go to bed with every night is you. And if you are happy with the choices that you have made, no matter what other people think of you and think about those decisions, then you are indeed a blessed man and a blessed woman. I hope these suggestions were helpful. As always, please only take what resonates, discard the rest. Thank you so much for your time today. I will see you in the next video.